Bonjour everyone, welcome to another episode. Today I'm going to do a little diecast showcase consisting of a bunch of mainlines, loose mainlines that over the last couple of years I'd say, that I've detailed up a little bit, exclusively using Sharpies. Basically just showing you a bunch of little details added to the car and how they can, just change a little bit, make the cars look a little bit more upscale, a little bit more. I wouldn't say realistic, but just gives it that extra pizzazz, basically. So yeah, I've got quite a few cars to show you. I'll go through these quickly. A lot of them I've already shown you. Some after detailing, some before detailing, but I'll just go through uh, the few details I've added on each. So start off with a couple vehicles from my previous video where I did an unboxing of two Hot Wheels 5 packs. So basically there's two out of the latest motor show pack that I decided to detail out a little bit, but just tiny touches, basically. Barely tiny touches. So first one I'm going to show you is this Ford GT race car. Super nice cast. Went through it on the previous video, so I won't bore you on the details, but literally I just added a couple details to this car. So front fascia is already done, right? So it's all already nice and detailed, looking good, but the rear was really bland. So what I did is I've added just a couple little details here, as you can see. So we've done the rear lights, blacked out the two portholes there in between um, the two stands of the wing, basically in black. That's where normally the exhaust would be on the road car, but as you can see, they're on the side on this one. So the surrounding of the exhaust are already done from factory. However, in the middle, it was basically just the blue paint. So I just added a touch of black, and that really changes the depth of the gives a deeper feel to the exhaust. If we're talking about the lights themselves, it's pretty straightforward. Dab of silver, then a little bit of red on the surround of the lights, just like the real car, and we're good to go. Just looks a little bit more detailed like that. So first one I'll show you out of the bunch. So next one actually is the other Ford GT that came with this this pack. So the GT40 Mark IV. Really cool livery. Looks good. Basically what I've done is same thing pretty much. I've just added a couple details to the rear. So the rear was completely basically silver, nothing special. And what I've just done basically is added just the rear lights, a little bit of silver for the exhaust, and boom, car looks complete, as if it had 4 Tampo passes instead of just 3. So there you go. Just tiny details, but they do make a difference, basically. The overall look of the car. Just standing there, you can see, a lot of these, there's barely anything added, but it's just the touch that was needed, basically. Another one that I've detailed just barely, but fairly recently, would be car from a previous video also that I unboxed. So it's this Greddy Pandem GR Supra. So yeah, basically on this one, I mean, the rear is really bland. So I just went ahead and added a couple details here. So you've got the rear lights that I tried to do my best to actually, get the shape right. Kind of hard because the cast details on this are kind of vague, so it's kind of hard to follow a hard line basically on there. You'll notice also the exhaust tips that are done now, which definitely makes a difference. You can barely see there, but in the middle I put that third stoplight as well in between the two exhausts. Kind of hard to see. And what I've done also, wheels were black 10 spokes. I've just made them bronze. I thought it would look a little bit better, just give a little bit more of a, just a little bit more of a nice feel to the car overall. Another car that I did a wheel color change, and another really cool GDM car. Actually, I'll show you that later. Um, yeah, we'll stick to the GDM, I guess. Another Toyota product that I detailed. This was quite some time ago, though. Is this Scion FRS? Oh, Toyobaru, you know, Scion FRS, BRZ, GT86, whatever it is on your market, or what era we're talking about. So this one, what I've done basically, first and foremost, I removed the tampos off this car. There was some tampos on the sides, so those are all gone because I wanted a clean look on this one. It's got a kind of a pretty tame wide body kit on there, but it kind of looks stock. I've done the rear lights and exhaust on this one as well, as you can see. Um, just little touches here and there. And what I've done also, I added a little touch of black for the vent there. And I did the front lights in yellow with kind of like a silver projector in there. And it kind of like rose gold colored fog lights, and blacked out the grille, basically the middle grille, which was originally silver, just like the car, and the front looked really, really bland. You can see a little bit of the tampo work in the body line still remaining there in the panel gaps, but overall I like the nice clean look of this. Looks pretty good. Happy how that one turned out as well. Next up, which one could I show you next? You know what, we'll go Euro a little bit here. Another one I detailed quite some time ago, and I mean, this one is very, very basic. If we're talking about details, very basic. So Ford Escort Cosworth. This would have been from the Nightburner series. Yeah, and this one, if ever you're curious, this is a 2015 release, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I've had that one for a while, and decided it was time to customize it just a little bit. Yeah, so this one's from a 2017 Nightburner set. I really like this casting because it has the revised wing on the trunk lid, as opposed, it's not accurate. I mean, it should be a whale tail technically, but the later versions of the RS Cosworth had the revised shaped rear lights, which you can see are done here. I did the lower vents as well, but it had also the WRC wing that's kind of known. It looks like the Evo / WRX wings. It's just better for aerodynamics overall, for downforce. On the front, I really tried to be very discreet on the lights, as you can see. So just some dab of yellow for the front lights, and orange for the repetitors. These look like Moret front lights, so I wanted to really keep the quad eye look. And I just blacked out the grills for the rest, basically. So just tiny touches, basically, here and there. Oh boy, this one really wants to roll, eh? There you go. Yeah, so moving on. Couple that I'm more or less proud of, honestly, but I'll show them to you anyways. We can't win them all, right? So we have here the S13 in Toyo Tire and Greddy livery. RPS 13 180SX. Really cool cast, obviously, being a Nissan nut. I love this cast, but sorely lacking. I mean, it's tampoed all over, so obviously no front, no back details. So just went ahead and added just a tiny touch of color. So yellowish gray front lights, orange repetitors there in the bumper. Blacked out the grills a little bit just to give it a little oomph. And this was my first attempt at a full back deco. Honestly, I'm not super proud of how it turned out, but I mean, you gotta try, to perfect. But yeah, I've got some practice to do on full backs like this. Was my first time trying surround, doing the black surround on the lights to make them pop a little bit more. Yeah, and I mean, white, as easy as it is to add details, it's also extremely hard to correct if you make a mistake. So, it's done, but it's not. I mean, honestly, I'm not super proud about it. However, the exhaust turned out extremely well. Just added a little bit of silver there, and that turned out great. So, overall not too bad, but not all that great either. So, I mean, from a distance it doesn't look too bad, but you know, could be better. Another one, another white car basically I detailed, and you'll probably see what I mean about details being extremely hard on a white car. So this one is the Triumph TR6. It's kind of like a hill climb setup car. It's got no windscreen, and really cool paint scheme. This was a multi-pack exclusive deco. Casa hasn't been producing, a little bit there, but yeah, they did make a little run of these casts and multi-packs, so happy about that. So what I did on this one, basically, I did some interior detailing, just added some silver detailing a little bit, and a little bit of bronze on the steering wheel rim, just to mimic like the wood rim, the steering wheel. Did the vents here on the front, more or less happy how those turned out. And I did the whole roll cage in silver as well, so as to make it look like metal. A few details here and there. Silver on the latches and the hood, the trunk pins, the gas cap. Did the rear lights. Not too bad, but again, I just did the color and it really didn't pop, so I decided to do some blacks around, and kind of hard to do, because again, the lights, the separations in between the different pieces of the lights are kind of tough to go to square out easily. However, the front end, I'm really happy how it turned out. So all the vents are done, little fog lamps on the bottom, grill, it's silver and black now, as well as the front lights. So I did do a black surround around the front lights, and this one actually turned out pretty darn good. So happy about that. It's the first time I did a detailing on an interior, so pretty happy about that. Next up, let's see. Well, you know what? I'll bring out some Christmas colors here, since. Let's. Oh boy, Escort really wants to go there. So let's start off with nice little couple Porsches here. So I did show off this thrift store find Porsche 997 GT3. Decided to detail this one out because, as opposed to the GT2 casting from Hot Wheels and the GT3 castings from Matchbox of the same generation, these have only front tampos for the lights and for the Porsche emblem, plus the stripes that you see on the side. No front, no rear. No front vents, no rear. So I decided to go ahead on this one and do the front grille that's below the Porsche emblem. There we go. I did also the turn indicators / fog lamps, as well as blacked out all the grills on the front bumper, which gives a little bit more depth, a little bit more detail to the front. Decided also to do the spokes of the wheels in gold. I found that added a little bit of character versus just the black twin 5 spokes. Did also the side markers, and if we go to the rear, did the vents on the bottom there, rear lights with the indicators, as well as the exhaust, which is kind of hard to do because honestly it's not very well molded from factory. So, but I find it looks better with the light details personally, so I'm happy about that. Pretty happy how it turned out. And yeah, a little Porsche there, a little Porsche action. Next up, let's do another Porsche. Another Porsche here. This one actually just detailed not too long ago. So it's my loose version of the 356 Outlaw. This is a multi-pack exclusive livery, and it's from the 2018, the 50th anniversary for Hot Wheels. I believe this one was a 2019 release, though, if we're talking about when it was actually available in those 5 packs, at least up here in Canada. So what did I do on this one? So this one, totally did the front end, because I was in dire need. So blacking out those vents that are between the indicators and the hood straps, or actually should I say the front straps. Did the front lights with the goldish finish in the middle to match the tampo work, and a silver surround. Um, let's see what else. Oh yeah, I blacked out the lower intakes as well. So all the grill work's done there. Added some door handles. Just a little detail there. And I did the rear as well. So we've got the vents for the actual rear hood of the car, and the rear lights that are done as well with the silver surround, and the exhaust pipes in silver as well. Well, actually, the whole muffler is done. So. Yeah, so just I find it, it adds a lot to the car, especially the rear lights. So yeah, looking pretty good next to its older brother. Next up, staying in the classics, in European classics. I did up this one a few months ago. This is a again multi-pack exclusive. I believe it's from a 10-pack from 2020, maybe last year, but I think it's 2020. So Mini Cooper S. This is a cast that's been around for a while. Have a couple versions of this. Actually, I have blue, green, and yellow. Yellow being the recent Treasure Hunt release, and the blue being very old, very old, older, from the first release, metal body, metal base, with the body that's detachable from the chassis. Shown that off in a previous video. So what did I do on this one? This was my first attempt at doing kind of like ghosted lights. So basically, it's kind of like diluted silver, and it does not show certain angles, but when the light hits, it actually does reveal the lights. I did a bunch of tiny little details all over. You've got the little turn signals. You've got the hood intake that's done as well. On the side, you can see the door handles are done now. And on the rears, where I put a little bit more work. So, sorry. Again, you've got the indicators, the rear lights, the trunk handle, as well as the exhaust now that's done. So gives a little bit more of a little bit more stuff to look at, a little bit more details to catch the eye, basically. Oh yeah, I also did the hood straps on this, but it doesn't show a whole lot. The hood straps or hood pins. I don't know how you would necessarily characterize them, but there they are. Next up, how about some staying in the classic car, some American muscle. So I did show these in the past, I believe, but I've fully done them up. Basically, you'll probably have seen this. Actually, quite a few of these on Instagram posts that I've put up on my account. But we've got the 69 Copo Camaro, which is recent release, very recent release in this color wave. So I decided to go ahead and add a few details onto there as well. Actually, did quite a lot on this one. So as you can see, this is like basically there's no details on the original cast whatsoever. There's no front tampos. Did the grill, did the front bumper while keeping a little bit of the red color between the grill and the bumper, just to separate the details. Front lights are done, fog lights. You've got the two little air intakes that are right next to the fog lights on the outside, basically, of fog lights. And I also went ahead and added door handles and locks because those were lacking. So these are not tampoed from factory. I added these myself. Glad how they came out. Actually came out pretty well. Part I'm most proud about is the rear. The rear really came out great. So you've got the bumper that's done. You've got the chrome trim around the taillights with the taillights themselves, as well as the exhaust. I mean, it just gives a whole new depth to the car, basically. At least in my personal opinion. This one I'm really proud of. Came out really good. I mean, and it's on OH5s, my favorite wheels from, my favorite mainline wheels from Hot Wheels. So, really good looking stuff. Yeah, I noticed already the chrome finish on this wheel. These wheels are coming off. They really aren't as, yeah, unfortunately, they're not as well chrome coated as they used to be. But hey, speaking of chrome coating, I actually altered this one a little bit. So this is literally a pickup the same day, cracked the same day as I picked it up and everything. But it's the 65 Mustang 2+2 fastback. I love this cast. I know that Jason at Mustang Hunter Diecast really likes this cast as well. So I decided to just, just make it, give it what it deserved. Basically, if we're talking about details from. So if we start with the front, on the get-go, the hood pins are part of the tampo work that was on the car, as are the stripes, obviously. What I did is added front bumper. I also added some fog lights and some headlights. And what I did is I did the side exhaust. Mind you, on this one, the side tampo work, including the door handles, were already done. What I've done as well is I blacked out the rim of these 5 spokes just to make the tires look thicker. Not bad, I find personally, on how it turned out. Kind of looks like it's worn from being used on the track, but I actually de-chromed the lip of the wheel here. So, and the part I'm again most proud of is the rear. I find that this came out really good. There we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, front bumper, rear bumper. Sorry, I did that in silver with the what would be a Mustang logo. Obviously, it's not. I wouldn't be able to do the actual Mustang logo in the middle of that. And I did the rear lights by applying some silver and then just applying some little bit of red detail on there, just to mimic how the lights would have been on the real car. It's not extremely precise. I mean, I did the best I could, but overall, I think it came out pretty darn good. So yeah, again, the exhaust there that's done. Yeah, just looks pretty mean, pretty cool looking in my opinion, at least. So put that one there, and yeah, I'll show you a couple Matchbox too that I did recently. Now this one basically, on the get-go, probably not very noticeable what I actually did to the car, but I'll do a quick comparison just to show you what what was done, what was actually done. So this is a multi-pack exclusive Hakusa Skyline. It's just the GT, basically. It's the base model, the base sport model, basically, of the car. So what I've done on this one basically, you can see has the big side deco, which unfortunately does remove the front and rear tampos. Now what I wanted to do is basically replicate the regular version that I have 2 variations of that are fully tampoed front and back. So what I've done is I've tried my best to replicate what is done on the actual other 2 versions. So I've done the front lights, a mix of orange and black for the lower turn indicators, Grill in black with the chrome center. And I've also added on most of these, actually I forgot to mention, just a dab of silver on the back of the mirrors for the ones that have rear view mirrors. Just to give it that extra, that extra little detail. There we go. Oof. A hard time focusing, eh? Either way, I mean, there's a dab of silver on there, so there you go. And then this is the part where I really wanted to address. The rear lights missing was really a drag for me. So I actually replicated the ones that, well, you know what? Here's the tampo work from Matchbox. This is like the original tampo work that comes with the car. And I thought it was like cool that the tampo work was there. But then again, it's not really true to the real car. So what I did is I did the reverse with the red inside the chrome bezels of the rear lights as opposed to the opposite from Matchbox. And then I just, dab a chrome on the exhaust just to make sure that it pops a little bit more. So even the front, basically, if you compare. So obviously my indicators are darker because I wanted them darker to kind of like go with the black bumper a little bit better to kind of blend in. Grill's not done on the Matchbox version, but the front lights are. So, and the Matchbox version here does not have side tampos, which eventually I'll add to this one, maybe. Although this one I'd like to keep completely original. And this Hako actually does have it. Yeah, I'm only missing like a tiny piece of a tiny bit of red on this one, which I'll add probably after this video because I honestly just noticed it. But yeah. And another one that I fairly recently detailed, maybe 3 weeks ago, a month ago, something like that. It was a casting I really loved from Matchbox. It would be the D21 Nissan Hardbody. So, I mean, not a whole lot of work on this one. Just a little touch here and there, but did the front. And this is really easy to detail because, I mean, everything's super well separated. I mean, it comes with no front tampos, no rear tampos. So, I mean, that dark gray makes it really bland. But look at just a little touch of gold and silver and black. Just brings everything together, makes the truck look so much better. Same for the rear. Just added, turn signals and a little bit of silver for that the tailgate handle. Also added a little bit of silver to make the hitch pop a little bit more. And I just completed the details on the inside of the box. So a little bit of silver for that toe chain and black and silver for that spare wheel. All of this was like just that same bland gray that you would see for the side arches in the interior. So that just makes it pop a little bit more. Happy how that turned out. Super. This is one of the easiest castings to customize if we're talking about, or detail I should say. Not really customize, it's more detailing basically. Yeah, so just to finish off quickly, because this video is already starting to get really long, another one that I did out of necessity, because literally this car has like so little details from factory, from the Mattel factory, that it was in dire need. Subaru STI, the blob eye, rally spec. Great livery. I mean, with the pink STI and kind of like a camo stripe going on and everything. It's got the big WRC wing in the back. You got the vent for the driver and all that good stuff. No light, no front, no rear details. I mean, it was sorely lacking. So I just decided, you know what? Front lights, grille, little emblem in the middle. Detail the scoops a little bit. Add some rear lights. And tiny speck of silver for the exhaust, and there you go, so much better. And just 2 little dabs of silver also for the trunk pins, and there you go. I mean, it was just it was just out of necessity, honestly. Just needed those details. And I mean, kind of looks like the, you know, main majorette streetcar kind of details and whatnot, what they would put on there. So, you know, I find it ties everything together quite nicely. Then one that I put a little bit of more work on, but not that much. It didn't need much, basically. And I've talked about this casting needing some extra details. The Honda Civic EK Type R hatchback. Well, obviously hatchback, because all the Type R's of that generation came as hatchbacks, but I digress. First thing I addressed was the front of the car. Desperately needed that front grille and the air intakes done and the bumper. I mean, it's just tiny details, but they make so much of a difference. So much of a difference. I really do enjoy how it came out after those details. After that, I just added a touch of silver for the exhaust tip, which I find ties the rear end well together. You know, ties everything together in the rear end. And yeah, I decided to do gold wheels on it too. This came with the black PR5s, which are pretty nondescript. Just adding some gold to the spokes and the rim really, you know, just gives another dimension to the car if you look at the profile of it, at least in my humble opinion. So pretty happy how that turned out as well. Park that one there. And we'll finish off with a couple Nissans, because, you know, Nissans. One that I have, you know, same thing. Very little work was needed to it, but just tiny details to make everything, you know, kind of fit together. The KW sponsored PS13 Sylvia, or 240SX in this case, because I do believe this is a left-hand drive. Actually, no, it's a right-hand drive, so it is a Sylvia. So yeah, really nice car. This is a real car, real deco. It was a SEMA car. The year before, the same year that this came out as a Hot Wheels mainline. So what I've done on this one, pretty straightforward. It wasn't dire needed details in the front. So intercooler is now silver. You know, did the bumper details with the vents and the front the front turn signals. There we go. And then I did the front lights, turn signals. I did a little bit of silver for the mirrors, and that big fart can on the back. Just needed a little bit of silver and black just to make it pop, because I mean, yeah, otherwise it's just black, so it's kind of boring to look at. So there you go. Factory tampos on the back are quite good. A blade not quite positioned well. And last car I'm going to show you today before we end this video is going to be from the same Nightburner set, actually, as this very non-fixed Kazi, is the Hakusa Skyline again. So this is 2000 GTX, so not the same model as the Matchbox. The green Matchbox is right there. It's actually a one rung below, basically, the GTR, and one rung above the GT. So, you know, mid-range, has the L20 instead of the S20, so less powerful engine, but has a sportier chassis, bigger brakes, bigger wheels, bigger wheel arches, and all that stuff from the GTR. So really, you know, an in-between. So yeah, this one I did want to add a few details, because again, most of the time you'll see this anyways in multi-packs. There's going to be a lot of deco, but not a whole lot of detail if we're talking about front and rear, where in my opinion they really matter. So what did I do on this one? First and foremost, side exit exhaust has got to be done on this one, just to make it pop. You'll see it just blacked out the rivets also for the fender flares. It's not really super visible here, but I did darken by a shade the headlight covers. Grill and oil cooler are fully done, as are the lower indicators. If you guys have picked up the most recent variation of this, you'll see that that's how they're represented on the card art. So I kind of followed that a little bit to, and I did I don't know if you can see through there, if you can peek through there, but I also did, in behind the oil cooler, there's a little grill that was done there as well, just to give that extra little piece of detail. And I went ahead and did a quick detail on the rear as well. So rear lights, the bumper fixation points, as well as those two little nibs there. I have no idea what they are, but you know, to me, they needed to contrast a little bit with this magnificent gold metallic paint. That's very, very 70s, 80s, very early 80s, or pretty mid 70s, I'd say. But yeah, really, really nice cast, which I adore. And that's going to be the last car we're going to check out today. So I do hope you enjoyed this little showcase of a bunch of cars to which I added some details. Let me know what you think. You know, they're not customs, but, you know, just to show that how very little details can go a long way in making a mainline pop a little bit more. And I mean, it's not too time consuming as long as you have a steady hand. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself having a steady hand, but you know, it is what it is. Practice makes perfect, so I'll keep detailing more. It's a good excuse also to crack cars open. So yeah, I'll end it there. So hit that like if you enjoyed. Comment if you have any feedback to provide. And of course, subscribe if you'd like to be notified of future uploads on my behalf. On that, I will bid you an excellent rest of your day, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.